Hello everyone, hope you guys are doing well. Today I'm going to be talking about a project I made with some group members of mine pretty recently. I also got a new mic, so that's pretty cool. But this project was something we made for a special class in Dianza. It's essentially a portable cash reader for the visually impaired to distinguish and identify bill denominations. It was designed for people in third world countries where cash transactions are common and there isn't a lot of access to digital currency. I'm going to be walking through the whole process of how we made it and all the parts that you need to make it in this video. And I kind of wanted to put this video out there because when me and my group were first making the project, it was hard to find resources and ideas like this. So I thought I'd just put it out there for anyone who's looking to make a project similar to it or just learn something new. But without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is install VNC Viewer. It just makes it super easy to not have a chunky monitor right next to you. To do that, you're going to do sudo apt get update and upgrade, and then sudo apt get install real VNC Viewer. Trust me, it's going to make it super easy for you, and you're just going to love me after that. After that, you're going to want to make sure that you have OpenCV installed. Just do Python 3 and then import CV2. If an error comes back, you don't have it installed and you'll have to do the following steps. If you do, you can skip the next 2 minutes. To install OpenCV, all the instructions are on my GitHub. Go ahead and follow the install OpenCV repository. There's also a step-by-step how-to in the README, so make sure to check that out. I really want to emphasize that do not type every single line. Please just copy paste every line into the terminal. And if any error comes up, I would just search it up, and there shouldn't be any problems. There might be some problems with the permissions, but after that, go ahead and configure your camera. Press yes, enable, and then you're going to want to do sudo pip3 install PyCamera array. This just makes sure that your camera is connected to your OpenCV. Now you should start thinking about assembling your case for testing. I think now is a good time to explain kind of the case and the whole design of our project. So it was only made out of a few simple parts. I bought the camera from a local computer store. It's the PyCamera 2. The breadboard is super small. I think it's one of the tiniest breadboards I've ever seen. I think it's 2 by 1.5 inches. And then we got some female to male connectors. The wire's right there. And we have a button, a push button, and a white LED, and then a resistor. You can use any resistor from 430 ohms to 1000 ohms, depending on how bright you want the LED to be. But I think the total cost for the whole thing came out to maybe, including the Raspberry Pi, maybe around $80, not even. So super doable. Anyone can do this. For the case itself, I started out with the worst case I have ever seen anything made out of in history. It's just a shoebox and pieces of paper. But honestly, don't be afraid to kind of make the worst case you can, just to make sure that your project is working so far. That was one of the main struggles we had, was making sure the camera was working and we were able to turn it on and off. But just make a case. I'll put pictures right here. But make a case that you can just tape everything to the side and take a photo of a dollar bill on the ground to make sure that your camera is working and you have your proof of product ready to go. But after that, the very first initial case right here, I kind of made a second version, which is a shoebox, and I just taped it to the wall, and I was able to tape dollar bills to the side. That one was a little bit better, but not so great. And then thankfully a group member had a 3D printer, so we were able to just kind of jump from 0 to 100 on this one right here. I put Velcro on the sides to connect the Raspberry Pi, and then later I added a portable battery, so you could just pick it up and move it around the room if you wanted to and take photos. So that's what this Velcro is on the bottom, but it comes with a portable battery. But if you're looking to use the same code and all the same stuff that I put in my GitHub, I would really recommend connecting everything so it's not so much of a struggle, including the LEDs and the resistors. Make sure you have all that stuff. One thing I actually ran into was when I was initially connecting the LED in the first place, I actually burnt the Raspberry Pi. I burnt the Wi-Fi, and so from that point on, if I want to use this Raspberry Pi on the case right here, I have to plug it into Ethernet. But make sure that you have all of your everything set right, and you're not about to blow something up. Just make sure that you're careful before you do anything. Gosh, do I talk a lot? Okay, so the next step from that point on is you're going to want to go back to the GitHub, and you're going to copy paste three Python files into your Raspberry Pi. The first one is the library image capture, the next is comp, and then the next is OpenAI. OpenAI is optional, but if you want to use OpenCV, make sure to do library image capture and comp. So the way that the initial breakdown of this whole OpenCV, how it works, is that you take library images of the front of a $1 bill, back of a $1 bill, front of a $5 bill, front of back of a $5 bill, etc., etc. And then you're going to take a live photo using the comp file, and that comp file is going to compare that live photo with the library images of the $1 bill, $5 bill, like back and front, etc., etc. Make sure to label them as is and the directories as is as in your Pi. It's going to compare this photo that it takes with the library images. For the OpenAI, how that one works is essentially it takes a live photo and it sends that photo to ChatGPT. Here in the file, you have to put your own API key, make sure to do that. But the breakdown again is that it takes a photo, sends it to ChatGPT, ChatGPT does all the work, and it tells you what the denomination is. This is way more accurate than the OpenCV because the OpenCV is super sensitive to movement and the light can change the accuracy. You'll see a failure later on. All right, so now I'm going to do a live demo of how the whole thing works. First, you're going to put in your dollar bills into the device and take photos. There's nothing in it right now, but go ahead and use capture image, .py, whatever you labeled it as, to take the photos and save it as the timestamp, as you can see. Then you're going to the timestamp and rename it as 1B, 1F, 100F, respectively, whatever it is. B and F stand for back and front. Deleted that for the sake of the video. Here is me showing the live demo. So I'm currently putting the $1 bill, running it. It ready to capture image. I press the button, takes the photo, saves that as the timestamp. Repeatedly for every single denomination, 1, 5, 10, etc. Here's actually my first photo that I took on my first prototype, so that's pretty cool. Now that we saw that, I'm going to go back and I'm going to run my comparison file, and I'm going to compare a live photo with the library images we have. Because there's nothing in it, it's going to repeat out nothing, or we have no matches. As you can see, it gives us 0 certainty matches. The certainty matches are just the amount of times that it recognizes a similar part of photos. So I'm going back and now I'll actually run it with money in it. I have a $1 bill in there running. This is a success. So it says this is most likely a $1 bill. Now, like I said, changing the positioning of the case can mess it up, and it messes with the lighting, and that messes with the accuracy. So here it's saying that there are no matches, even though it's perfectly fine photo. Now here's me running the OpenAI version of it. The OpenAI is way more accurate and way more efficient than the OpenCV. We had a lot of problems with OpenCV, but we had almost 0 problems with using the AI ChatGPT. Here I'm putting a $5 bill in, and it correctly guesses that. I'm also testing it with the $1 bill, and it also correctly determines that denomination. Later, I might possibly look into making the OpenAI way more developed, but for now, the main focus of our project was the OpenCV. The whole project. Thank you guys for watching. It was a super great experience overall and super fun to make with my group. If anyone has any comments or suggestions for anything I could do on the project, or maybe for another project in the next video, please feel free to drop it in the comments below. And again, thank you guys for watching.